Welcome back to X-Men Origins Wolverine. So let's have a CGI cutscene where we're having the experiment that is happening on poor Logan. And unfortunately, like I said, his legendary scream here is trying to be replicated, but just not in an effective way enough. Meanwhile, he's having some flashbacks about the Regiment village in the middle of the day and not in the night like it was in the movie.
Maybe he's misremembering, I don't know.
I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Oh yeah, and he listens, just like in the movie, he listens that he needs to be disposed afterwards, so he's reasonably pissed off.
And there are the ever-famous
See what I mean?
claws.
The script in the movie is so legendary, probably one of the few good things about it, but here is just, eh. And I'm sure it's not Hugh Jackman's fault, it's just the direction that he was wrong.
Yeah, I guess.
So unlike in the movie, where Logan just kills one or two people and then cuts a huge axe in the metal and gets out, here you have to chew every single centimeter in order to get out of the building, so have fun.
So, Stryker, was it totally worth doing this, only to lose all your troops to, well, the
Apparently,
frenzy?
considering he has an entire fucking army inside this building, never mind the fact that the alkali dam is so huge in this game.
Guess he spared no expense with the workforce.
Also, I gained another ability, the Berserk.
Also, he's gonna probably have to call a lot of families now, telling them that their loved ones are dead.
But don't you see, Jova, they were brave soldiers who wasted their lives for duty and shit.
I mean, imagine how the briefing would go. Oh, how did my husband die?
He was clawed up, well, faster than
By
you
an
can
animal.
say.
By an
Yeah.
animal, I say.
Yes, he was clawed up by an animal. Razor-sharp claws on them, too.
A rhinoceros?
Since I leveled it
not quite as big.
rhinoceros do not have claws. Jesus Christ, biology 101. Since I have enough skill points now, I can start leveling up something. Again, either the powerful of my attack, the amount of health, or the rage one. Surprisingly enough, your maximum health increases at a very slow pace. It doesn't get too much, full. But the good news is that it gets also updated not just by upgrading your skill levels, but also by finding power-ups in the game that permanently increase your health. It just goes by a very slow pace. And yes, by the way, you will have to do most of the levels with Wolverine in his undies. Because why not?
Because fan service.
Honestly, I'm fine with it.
No
With
problem.
Hugh Jackman, it is one case where I prefer it.
Oh, for a second there, I thought you were fighting the Ninja Turtles. I mean, in the menu, we have Mutagen and Shredder.
Well, Shredder is just type of combat skill, quote unquote, that you can apply if you manage to find the components. Again, one other thing in the collectibles that are in the levels is the fact that you can find these things like Samurai, Berserk, stuff like that, which give you essentially perks. But they give you like a different combat style. Like some of them maximally increase your health, reduce the damage you take, make you more efficient at killing people, stuff like that.
Lovely.
Also, I gotta love about these
Wow.
squads. No matter how much of them I kill, they're the ones who believe they can take me down. Like,
You know, there's a fine line between having no fear and just being stupid.
I guess every one of them think like Stryker, I suppose.
Oh, actually, apparently
Yes,
Stryker's one of the only people smart enough to stay out of distance. Also, that was weird.
Also, he
Oh
literally
no, the elite
he almost
commando.
teleported behind me. Whoa!
Oh no, we almost killed him.
What is this, Metal Gear? Who the fuck are you? Not even kidding. He has this intro cutscene because he's a type of enemy, like an assassin, and he has this cool cutscene like, oh, the only people they meet, they don't live enough to tell the tale or something, and I can kill easily them. Their only quirk is that they can parry my attacks or they can dodge them. So basically, your strategy is instead just grab the shit out of them.
That was like straight up Indiana Jones, like the guy makes a big deal about his entrance, and then the hero
Most of the
guts
enemy
him.
types actually are like that.
Huh. I guess that is sort of fitting with, you know, the sort of humor you expect from a Wolverine pick.
Honestly, I'm fine with it. Again, I don't actually mind the fact that Wolverine is relatively overpowered. Keep in mind that for the purpose of being a blind playthrough and playing on easy also, I do legitimately wonder how much the difficulty scales up in, you know, higher settings. Probably more, in a more balanced kind of way.
You know, why doesn't Logan just... Oh, I guess he needed the dog tags. Like, okay, I know
the dog
gameplay...
tag, like I said, the dog
I know that
functions
gameplay-wise,
like
they give you those pickups.
the dog tags functions just like a collectible. They're not like important in themselves, but the fact that they give you extra experience points.
I'm just trying to think of a good story reason as to why he bothers to get those dog tags. Now, away
I
from
don't know, the same way Snake collects them in the Twin Snakes version of Metal Gear Solid.
You know the funny thing
Like,
is...
I got one. I like dogs, so I got them a doggy tag.
Dog tags are not the same as dogs.
No, I meant I use a doggy tag, then get a dog, and put the doggy tag on the dog.
Also, yeah, let me explain this. When the enemies start using smoke grenades or your visibility is impeded, you can activate your sensor mode, which is essentially Batman Arkham Asylum's detective mode, to have a more clear view and having the enemies highlighted in yellow.
Here.
You even get a trophy if you kill like 1,000 enemies with this.
Wow,
this
I
mode.
can't believe there was a mook smart enough to say, we can't stop him.
Well, it's the thing. Honestly, I kind of like the dynamic voice clips of the mooks. If you start killing them, you know, very ferociously, they react accordingly. They're not like just generic.
Oh, that's
like
pretty
that.
good. Again, I'm
Raven
surprised.
Again, from my experience, again, the other game that I played made by Raven Software is an FPS called Singularity. I think it's the game they did after this one. Which is an FPS, so you think, oh, an FPS from Activision, it's just a Call of Duty ripoff. Sort of, but it has an interesting mechanic that makes it stand out. It's actually a semi-decent story. Again, the Raven team seems one that put passion in projects, so it's kind of a shame that they're wasted on a lot of Call of Duty games and not able to do whatever they want.
Yeah, Call of Duty...
I mean, Activision, get these guys to do, like, I don't know, a Pitfall reboot. You have the license for how many years of being vacant? Put it to good use.
Could definitely work. The problem is, like, well, Call of Duty for Activision is kind of like what FIFA and sports games are to EA. It's their big
absolutely.
moneymaker.
Dreams was mentioning this in the previous part. I just don't think Activision should have almost all its major teams working on it.
Yeah, it
at the
is
same
kind of
time.
baffling. I mean, I guess I'll give Activision credit. At least they aren't all forcing them to use the same goddamn engine.
No, at the very least. Like, I get it. Treyarch has done its time and everything, so I can imagine them to be more suited for this kind of thing. But again, Raven showed that you can do, you know, interesting things with if they have the right idea in mind.
Yeah. Oh my god, horrific experiments being done on people. I'll assume that's what that dead guy on that stretcher was meant to
Pretty
show.
much. Basically, the Alclay facility has been essentially being idealized as a game level, as a mad lab scientist. Never mind the fact that even in the X2, it was just a dam that has like 1 or 2 rooms dedicated to the Weapon X project.
I guess they got it mistaken with the Arclay facility from Resident Evil.
Don't you see, guys? They got lost and went to there by mistake.
Also, there's a giant monster in a cube, but totally not gonna jump out on me. Oh, hold on. Oh, as a scientist that can help me? Lady,
Hey,
I
isn't
just
that
need to get the fuck out of here. I don't need help.
Isn't that the female assistant from the movie? I guess here she's a good
I
guy
don't
helping us
remember. I
out.
don't remember, to be honest. Also, new enemy type. One that can turn invisible. The ghost enemy. Yes, Jova, we're using the ghost armor.
Of course.
You even blink and you're dead.
But yeah, they didn't counter the fact that Wolverine can smell people. So their new fancy tool is completely useless because every time I know that there is one of you in the room, I can just turn on my senses and find all of you. So prepare to be slaughtered.
I mean, in order to have a chance of defeating Logan, you have to be dressed entirely in adamantium armor, and somehow manage to block off any sense of smell. And,
Now, to be fair, the other major tools that the Ghost unit has at its disposal is a shotgun. Sorry. This means that you cannot lunge on them because as soon as you get close to them, they will use the shotgun to their advantage, meaning that you have to actually get close to them, causing personal. However, this can also get in their way, because if I grab them and use the heavy attack to kill them, Wolverine, instead of using his claws, will rapidly pressing a button, will rapidly move their own shotgun towards their head and pull the trigger. So, and I will show that also in later stages in the game. You even get a trophy if you manage to kill enough ghost units like that.
Lovely.
Also, one of the main gimmicks of this level will be moving switches. Moving power cells. Essentially, you collect a power cell that powers up a door or a contraption, and you put it somewhere else. This means two things. One, you need the cell to activate a contraption to move on, and two, the places where you're taking it, it's probably an optional location where it gives you like a collectible or something, so always check them out. Let me check. Who the scientist is voiced by?
a voice actress.
Oh yeah, if only I knew the name of the character. Unfortunately, again, the lack of subtitles doesn't certainly help.
Yeah, that's my default response now. When if I don't know who someone's roles are, I just say to what their profession is.
It may be Anna Graves. I'm not sure.
Military personnel in this sector. Evacuate to the alkaline.
I wonder when Stryker's gonna find her and either kill her or have Sabretooth kill her.
I guess I'll give this game credit, assuming that that's the same female scientist from before.
I'm not sure again, but I can tell you this: this plotline, of course, is original. Like I said, in the original movie, Wolverine just storms out easily enough from the facility, but here he needs to take his sweetest time, room to room, and there will be two minor storylines in here. One about finding the scientist, and another where Wolverine rescues another mutant, which we'll see later who he or she is. Oh
Hey.
shit, a Wendigo prototype.
Wow.
Oh great, is it a cannibal?
Oh my god, it's the monster from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Which one?
The Frankenstein power-up book. Basically, the guy that near the end drinks all the Frankenstein mutation potion and becomes this red monstrosity
I think
of
you
CGI.
mean the Jekyll and Hyde potion.
My bad.
Well, it's shit. It's the shit CGI monster. Even by 2003 standards, that thing was.
Yes,
Give
League
me
of
back,
Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is literally a career killer for not one but two subjects.
Which was the other
the-
one? One was Sean Connery. Who was the other
The
one?
director.
Oh.
And yet, from what I've seen, that wasn't Sean Connery's worst movie.
I can think of one or two that could be potentially worse.
And those are...
Again, there was that atrocious CGI animated film called Sir Billy.
Never heard of
I
it.
actually don't know that one. What I was
Good.
thinking was one with Catherine Zeta-Jones called Entrapment. Ever heard of that one?
Nope.
It's mediocre. I mean, to put it in perspective, Legal Story and Gentleman, at least you can make fun of it. Entrapment is boring and sometimes creepy. So
What, like Avengers level creepy?
well, sorta in a sense, but the entire story is revolved around this young female, relatively young female agent. It's Curtis Jones after all, who has to work with this professional thief, which is played by Sean Connery. Gee, it's practically the same role he has in The Rock. Not even joking. The only real thing that he's missing is the fact that he doesn't bust out of prison. Pretty much the story is as predictable as you can imagine. You know, they have to work together. They sort of fall in love, but they still, you know, respect each other. Then he finds out she's an agent. Pointless conflict, climax at the end. Then when he goes into the sunset, where she's free to choose whatever she wants to do, and it's.
Sounds like a tale as old as time, and none the
Also,
good way.
yes, there are audio logs in a game with no subtitles. This is insane.
I guess you have to stick around and listen then. I love how even though this is a time of great suffering for Wolverine,
this is one of the scientists, not Stryker, this is one of the scientists theorizing the use of Wendigo prototypes as weapons. Basically, since the Wendigos mutate from normal subjects, the idea is that using them on hostages, then sending back to their troops, and then basically activating on command the transformation, just to have the enemy lines having a surprise or something. Anyway, hold on. Alright, time for having the gimmick of his level.
Are you there, Logan? Can you hear me?
Who the hell are you?
I'm Dr. Carol.
Oh yeah, Carol Frost, there you go. She's voiced by Anna Graves.
Maybe I'm still thinking that she's...
Happening to me?
As an insurance policy against you escaping, Stryker had you injected with
How convenient.
It just activated and destroyed your regeneration.
Yeah,
Really?
you know, John, that thing that Viper does to Logan in V Wolverine, this game predicted it a couple of years earlier.
Wow.
Or 4 years earlier, yeah. So let me guess, he is not, he can't regenerate now.
I guess props
And
to
I can't use
Stryker.
withstand anymore, meaning that combat is not an option anymore. I need to be stealthy.
Well, props to
A Wolverine
Stryker.
game-
That's one way to think
hang
ahead.
on. A Wolverine game where you have to, a Wolverine game where there's a level where you can't do Wolverine stuff.
Well,
Again,
it's
nice
an
for
interesting
change of pace, nice for having an actual justification in game, and
Would that be
the
like
fact
a
that
Metal
they
Gear
created
Solid?
the atmosphere.
Would that be like a Metal Gear Solid game where sneaking actually gets you killed?
In here, it's a nice change of pace. I mean, hey, it's not the first Wolverine game to induct something like that, and it does keep the game from
but
just being
remember, the
mindless
game will
hack
actually.
and slash.
Sorry. Basically, the game will actually be compensate from that. Now the rooms will not sword anymore with enemies, thankfully, and instead the focus will be a lot more on puzzle solving and having rooms where you have to stay quiet from the enemies. And believe me, as far as stealth game goes, it's relatively simple. Again, this was studied as an hack and slash game first, so the stealth component is relatively minimal.
Again, it's weird how Stryker's actually smarter in this version to actually, give that little handicap just in case Logan went rogue.
Although it makes him come like crazy prepared by the fact that not only he had the idea of having the Weapon 11 program, or the fact that he wanted to still, making all those other versions, and the fact that he had potentially also led the project of Lady Deathstrike in program, he also injected Wolverine with an enzyme in the process.
Wow.
Just how smart do you think Stryker actually is? Because believe me, he's not really. He's just a generic military guy.
Well, like I said, smarter here than he was in the movies.
Yeah.
So, in X2, you could kind of, sort of excuse it because of the fact he's way older and really driven on one thing that he forgets about the rest. Here, he's younger and,
Conniving.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
good, another audio log.
for all intents and purposes, it was at this point where he was at the height of his power.
If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. A man was brought in today who could instantly
Oh?
teleport from another.
Ah.
Imagine the military potential of this ability. And what if there are others
John
with even
Rafe?
greater powers?
Yes.
A strike force composed
Yeah,
of
well, I am
Played by William.
that no human squad could even hope to attempt.
Yeah, if you don't remember, the power in this movie is teleporting, and that's unfortunately how he gets killed by Sabretooth for some miraculous reason.
Because Sabretooth was just that awesome to be able to predict where he would show up.
And yet he wasn't able to predict what was going to happen to his brother Jimmy after the D-Day version of the timeline in Days of Future Past. Seriously, I still can't get over it.
Yeah. Like, they try to make Sabretooth have this
I do
badass
wonder,
foretelling power, but...
like, I do wonder, considering again what I theorized in Logan, the fact that the entire reason why Logan's healing factor goes haywire is because of the adamantium skeleton. Fine, I'm not too big on the idea, but I can accept it. Hold on.
Oh, so you're my guardian angel, huh?
I simply want to help.
Her hair looks rather lighter than it did in the
Logan,
game.
there's a thing called tact. She's a defenseless woman. You can be a bit more less paranoid on her.
It will deactivate the bioenzyme.
And yes, we're not done ripping off Metal Gear because, again, a female scientist that injects Wolverine in a substance and he has to trust on her. Sounds familiar.
Yep. Hi, Naomi. Or Naomi.
Hey, Doc. This turns out to be a trap.
He's being infected with the Logan virus.
Ha! I will
Then I have
hunt you
nothing to
down
worry
with
about.
no
I
remorse.
brought your things.
My
It's kind of
face.
funny how a lot of lines in this game are so edgy, but Hugh Jackman delivers manages to make them so appealing.
Aw, she brought his wife beater and his jeans. That's nice.
Yeah. Now he has the iconic costume. I don't think we'll actually ever see Wolverine with the jacket, though. So sorry, Reeves. We're not having that. I don't even think we see the old man couple. The old couple.
It is nice how they're having him do his iconic hunch pose for the game.
Yeah, it's his standard pose. I think it was also at least partially mocapped. Not obviously the more acrobatic stuff, but you know what I mean. Anyway, these next couple of sections, stealth sections, involve turrets, meaning that if they spot you, it's an insta-kill. Snap.
Or slash.
However, you can disable them easily from behind.
Lovely.
Dr. Abraham Cornelius.
Let me check who voices the other doctor. David Prince.
Regulations. I'm on the verge of a revolutionary breakthrough, and they're worried about human rights.
Oh,
You're
it
one
was-
of those evil scientists, aren't
It was
you?
it was voicing the dangling participle in King's Quest 6. Huh, cute. It was actually one of his first voicing roles.
Huh.
And this apparently in this game was one of its last. How sad. Rampage. This is one of the mutagens that I told you before you can find and equip. Again, though, blind playthrough, so there may be occasions where I don't, equip something because I don't know see how it works properly, but again, the game is fairly easy enough. There, time to disable this turret, and moving on. The game also will throw you in a couple of small branching paths in these occasions where you have doors, both doors like green, but you don't know which one leads to a collectible and which one progress the plot. There aren't many instances where you get like blindsided and say, "Oh, the door is open, the door closes behind you, and you can't progress anymore." No, you can potentially go back and grab the collectibles if you don't find them.
You know, you gotta wonder. It made sense in the jungle why there were dead soldiers here, but here, what the heck is the reason for the dead soldiers? Like, clearly
Yeah,
Wolverine
I
didn't
am
get
the one
to them.
killing them.
Yeah,
Like,
clearly
it would be
Wolverine
more
didn't
sense
get
if
to... So what is
would be one more. Sorry, go on.
So what is Stryker going ahead and killing them already?
I don't know. So it's treason then.
What? Sorry, I missed that.
Hey,
bit. What did you
Dwibs,
say?
can you think of a reason why there are dead soldiers that Wolverine clearly hasn't killed? You know, the dead soldiers that we get the dog tags off of, even though Wolverine's supposed to be the one killing?
Maybe they all decided, fuck this shit, we're not bothering and killed themselves.
And I discovered that 90%
So
Possible.
the coward's way out.
of the place is huge. The
I mean, the soldiers are like, better we kill ourselves than we get our heads sliced off.
Not that that'll stop Wolvie anyway, considering how he rips those dog tags out to the point where it looks like their necks be getting sliced.
Struck me as a bit of a cold fish.
Well, Jova, by that point, they're already dead, so.
Also, guess what, Jova? One of the scientists actually had second thoughts after working for a while with Stryker. No.
Ah, yeah.
Basically, our Dr. Frost here is the classic case of scientist who join an evil organization thinking she would be able to do something good with it.
I guess it helps that she joined because now she's able to see the error of her ways and help us
Oh,
out.
hold on.
Because
I need to explain this. Basically, here you need to control this particular panel. However, after you go away from the control panel, it will start, going back to its original presence thingy. So you need to stay behind it, and don't get caught by the. There you go.
heh,
By the
how's
turret
that
gun.
for an animal? I can operate a control panel.
So he's in position. That was the term. Anyway, there you go. You need to use now the.
Whoop.
Watch out for this one, though. Shit!
Oh.
I almost died.
Dang!
And
Trying
they
to
would
shoot
have
the enemy,
almost.
you idiot. That's what I'm doing.
And they would have almost got me. That
Wow.
poor soldier doesn't know what he did.
Gotta give them credit. That's some pretty good hearing they had. Not exactly as incompetent as you would expect most soldiers.
Again, the sense of humor in this game is fun. It's on point.
It's more fun here than the movie.
So definitely. Again, the writer, say what you want about the fact that he went after this to Green Lantern, but he said that the writer of his game at least knew what he was doing, unlike Skipwoods. Let's see, maybe this, no, and this, there we go, that should do it. Basically now you need to dodge this turret by hiding behind two different, there we go. Your only weakness, tunnel vision.
Personal log. Dr. Carol Frost. A test subject was brought in to
Oh.
me today. He spoke, which was incredible considering the amount of sedatives he was given. It was difficult to understand him, but it sounded as if he wasn't a volunteer. He's a prisoner.
Is this how they recruited their crew for Wolverine X-Men Origins?
Here at Weapon X.
Yeah, it's strongly implied that that's what happened.
Huh.
A Porto was talking about it in real life.
Totally. Yeah, we dragged Hugh Jackman and Will.i.am like that.
They're like, if you want to
Alright.
see the light of day, you will help us make this masterpiece of a movie.
Never mind the fact that Hugh Jackman was supposed to be one of the producers.
And if you don't agree to make our movie, we'll tell the whole world who approved this piece of shit script in the first place.
Yes, Mr. Executive Producer.
I mean, I was just starting to see if one of the rooms was plot relevant, which one instead was collectible theme, and well, it's this one.
Huh. Very nice.
So yeah, again, the game knows how to spice things up with also different, change of. Hold on.
There's not much time. Place your arms in that machine.
All right.
Restraints engaged.
Why do I get the feeling this is some
Will
sort of trap?
reactivate your healing ability.
Surprisingly, no, Dibs. She's actually willing to help us. It's literally the procedure, but it's just a bit painful, like
Good
this.
luck, Logan.
Unfortunately, we don't have that much time.
Oh boy.
First serum,
Phase 1 complete.
second serum,
Phase 2 complete.
and third
Just
serum.
one more injection.
Phase 3.
Alright, we'll do the voice direction for the C ones. Alright, Hugh, imagine someone squeezing your testicles hard.
And he's dead.
We killed the bastard! I can't believe it! He's dead! Yeah, we did it! Target
Hard to believe indeed.
Weapon X is dead! I repeat, Weapon X is dead! Hey, somebody took my picture! Send me a copy.
Oh snap. Seriously, where was this kind of stuff in the movie? Like, if we had a scene like this in the movie, that would have already have made it 5 times better.
I'll be honest, I expect a scene like that in Deadpool or something.
I mean, it works for
There's the
Logan.
thing, the difference, major thing within this and Deadpool is the fact that Deadpool obviously always plays it like intentionally for comedy, while Logan is at least partially serious about it. So even when he's telling a joke, he's snarky about it. He has a more dry sense of humor. So I guess that was what makes it different.
Yeah, a lot of the characters in that movie had a sense of humor.
What the fuck are
Again,
you
my favorite.
doing?
Again, my favorite bit was from Patrick Stewart, where he was like, "No, she's 18, I'm fucking 90." Yeah, speaking of that movie, yesterday.
Actually, when I was talking about Logan, I was going to the character itself, not necessarily the movie.
Anyway, yesterday, speaking of Logan and the Wolverine to an extent, it was only when I watched Oliver and Company yesterday that I found out James Mangold worked on that.
I actually did told when we commented on the movie reviews.
Interesting change of pace for him, though, going from old kid-friendly Oliver and Company to Logan.
Oh yeah, another gimmick. When the enemies are pointing flashlights at you, you cannot lunge at them because Wolverine can't see them properly to judge the distance.
Well, Joe, but considering Le Mans 66 came out under Fox, in a way I guess you could say his career coming full circle.
Huh.
So yeah, the good news is that now you're back with your healing factor, so you can now start killing enemies like before. Your hyper senses are still not 100% full, so you will need to get to another room, to stabilize them. With a surprising callback, to say that.
Also, when I say Le Mans 66, everywhere else is called Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's how it's called in my country.
I've heard it's a very good movie, apparently.
Yeah, I saw it. It's a very good movie, I think.
Personal loss. Dr. Abraham Cornelius.
How can they expect me to complete my work when my
I wanna play God and shit.
I'm on the verge of a revolutionary breakthrough.
Not even kidding, that's his shtick.
I'm on the verge of a revolutionary breakthrough. There's no time to worry about
frame rate, no. It's like Crash 2
This is my next weapon. I will slow the tide down.
It's like in Crash 2 Insanity when emulating the game. No, we're playing the Xbox version on Xbox 360.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I'm not doing that.
And of course, of all places, it's here where it's really allowed to start spamming smoke grenades. I can't use my hypersenses, of course.
Found the Italian title.
What is it?
Le Mans 66 La Grande Sfida.
The Great Challenge, that all it means.
Are you certain such a metal even exists?
Anyway, this is Stryker talking about the adamantium, actually.
Claims notes were quite clear. Bonding that metal to bone must be
Wow, it's like they made him a James Bond villain with that accent.
damages all the surrounding tissue. Sounds like it would kill a
So we need someone who does it. Again, the entire stick is that the adamantium, fusion process would kill everyone else. So Logan was the perfect person to be subject with it.
It breaks my heart to see what depths these men have sunk into. Wraith is running a gym. Dukes has an eating disorder and
Yes, we're still going with that.
Perhaps the most pitiful of all is Logan. He had such potential, and now it's all going to waste while he hides in the wilderness.
Hey, Logan was a good movie. Fuck you.
Apparently Stryker doesn't like that.
It's almost as if it's the name of a character instead of just being a title with.
Either that, or he's one of those, thankfully rare but unfortunately kind of loud kind of fanboy that just dislikes anything that isn't MCU or something.
Oh jeez. Again, unfortunately, we are in a room with the Ghost Squad and we can't use our senses. Damn it. So now we have to wait for their silhouette to show up. The good news is that spamming your attacks most of the time actually works, so you will be bound to hit something.
Oh snap, he leveled up. That made his shirt grow back.
Sir, why does our invisibility cloak not work all the time?
Maybe it's because we didn't have the money to make it work constantly.
Then why bother having it?
Because it's invisible most of the time. That's usually
Cyclone!
good.
Cyclone!
Wow. Dang, you could put Crash Bandicoot to shame with that kind of death tornado.
Oh, jeez.
Aw, isn't that cute? The help came.
Yeah, for like 2 seconds.
So much for the cavalry. Sorry guys, but you
You
being
love it.
invisible makes it easier.
Oh, another health upgrader. Boost health. There we go. So yeah, next thing to do will be getting our sense back, and then Logan will finally be able to start getting out of the facility.
Hopefully
Hopefully.
Frost will get the heck out of Dodge if she expects to live.
Unfortunately, if I recall correctly, we don't know what's her fate. Unfortunately, one of the things that this licensed game does is that in a couple of the new things that it adds for the subplot, some of the new characters introduced, we don't know what's their fate.
Again, I really wonder if she's like that female doctor who didn't get to do much, but for some reason the movie focuses on quite a bit of times. Did we ever find out what that doctor's name is in that movie?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
In my head canon, she's Doctor.
Great lives.
Well, hey, if the movie didn't bother putting in any effort to give her a name, why should I?
At least it's
Because you're
not-
better than that.
Yeah. It's almost as bad as Little Nemo, who names that character Professor Genius. Who's a professor?
Oh, well, here we go.
Genius.
Hurry. Soldiers are on their way. Sit here.
You should be able
seem
to
rather
understand
calm
this.
about that.
You should be able to understand this since you watch also Days of Future Past, but you will see the reference in a
I
second.
have to leave, but the procedure will only take a few minutes. When it's done, you can exit through that door.
Smart.
Thanks for helping me, Doc.
Logan, there's a little girl locked up in this sector who needs
That's the
help.
mutant we're gonna have to save. So yeah, another thing that this game predates over the other Wolverine. Surprisingly, no. You will see. Oh, that helmet looks familiar.
Oh, cute.
She needs you.
Now he's RoboCop.
But we will see what happened to it in the next part. So see you for that.
See ya.
Yeah.